Hey, it's Mike Brennan. We got another segment on MITech TV, and we have with us, we just discussed it before we went live, Bob Skinner, known Bob forever. Him and his brother were one of the early investors in MITech TV, well, MITech News then, didn't have TV. Skinner is with a group called The Ugly Event, is that correct?
Ugly
So,
talk.
Ugly
yes,
Talk, that's it, Ugly
yeah,
Talk. Well,
yeah,
that will get a few people to listen in. So, talk about the Ugly Talk and what that's all about. I know.
yeah. So I've been an entrepreneur for all my life, and so I love networking and I love founders. I was a TechStars mentor at one point in time on behalf of Ford, and so this group reached out to me last fall. It's called Ugly Talk. You can look it up on Google it and go to their website and see all their events. But they started in Brooklyn, and the concept was for founders to be able to come to one of these networking events. And the format is a moderator and typically three panelists. So they get experts on whatever the subject is for that particular meeting. And it each of the panelists shares some stories about being founders, and sometimes it gets ugly, and sometimes things crash and burn, and they
Sometimes,
have
but go ahead. Yeah.
yeah, they have to pull themselves up by the seat of the pants. So they got to get you got to get very creative, and there's a lot of lessons learned in those scenarios. And so these events are really there to try to help newer founders, and not only learn lessons to avoid, but get kind of the perspective that it's not an easy ride all the time, but perseverance pays off mostly, but it's a conversational type session. This one we did that was really focused on AI. I have an AI company. I'm a founder in an AI company. We had the head of VMLs, the agency, the WPP agencies. We had the head of their product and AI. We had some of you guys know Bob probably from IT and the D, and his network. And then we had actually my son, who's in charge of 100% of the agentic agents for a very large telecom. So we had a really interesting discussion, and it's starts out with kind of some questions to draw out various types of stories, and then it becomes more of an open discussion and question and answer with the audience, so we could really let that participation take take control. And we had some really nice cocktails and some nice food, and so it's a networking event before. It's a session that's hour to an hour and a half, and then it's networking after. So it's really kind of a 3 hour start to finish networking and presentation, and it went very well. We got some great responses afterwards about it. Had some really interesting discussions. The panel was really in tune to the space and the challenges and also the opportunities. So that was a great discussion, and we have to figure out when the next one is and what the subject's going to be.
Hmm. So tell us a little bit about your company, this Neuro AI agent
Yeah.
company that you've got.
Yeah, so I was back in the day. I was at Ford Direct. I was a VP of digital strategy and one of the guys in charge of the AI there. We were doing a lot of marketing, advertising for all the dealers, and had some really cool things that we did there. And I had left to do try some other ventures, and Justin Coleman was looking to break out and get into his own business. So we started NeuroAIgent, and it's with AIgent. So we got the AI in the middle of it, got a little twist on NeuroAgent. And we built initially just, thinking that, this is going to change and we're going to find our niche. We built a tool for a doctor's office to help the billing specialists reduce their time from post-patient visit pre-auth forms and reaching out into the healthcare system and pulling down the data they had. It was about 25, 30 minutes to do that, and we reduced it down to 2 minutes. And we thought, well, that's pretty good. That could have a lot of opportunity. Although doctors are notorious to try to get to from a market from a sales standpoint, and the particular billing specialist, which is hard to find good ones and they're expensive, was 70 years old, and so some things would change like on the website, and so we would have to go in and modify code. And at one point, Justin said, "I'm going to fix this," and he basically wrote the capability for the code to fix itself. And then next thing I know, I'm going, "Hey, you just built an agentic AI agent
Yeah.
that's local. It's a small LLM basically that we can run local. So in regulated industries, it's got some really unique opportunities." Um, so we kept working with different use cases, and now we've also got a product that basically, so we've got it to a point where it's like a train and learn. So you can literally, start the tool, do a task, save the task, and then it'll run itself and keep learning over time if something changes, a website changes, or buttons change on screens and things like that. And then we also, with the underlying tool set that we built in this model, we can take any company's documentation, PowerPoint spreadsheets, PDFs, and convert thousands of documents in a few hours into basically chat, a secure chatbot with RAG for contextual capability, and we could secure the company's data so it's not used or trained on by the chat GPTs or the Gemini of the world. But if you're asking a question of the data of your data and it's not all there, it can go outside, to the internet and pull back data. But again, keep your data secure and non-trained on. So people start talking to their data instead of spending all the time browsing and trying to find things in spreadsheets. And it's a really cool, efficient tool that we've got some really interesting use cases around.
Right. So what AI is seen to be dominating, and has for the last couple of years, but I mean, really, in the last 12 months, it's just really taken off. Where do you think this is all going? I mean, what kind of a world are we moving into? That's the big question for everybody.
Yeah, it could be a bit scary. I've seen recently this ability, and it just seems to happen so fast that you could uh, spin up all these agents and sub agents that are agentic agents, and they'll have a task, and they can connect to the other agents, and they just keep going, learning and learning and learning, and they could just do so much in so little time that it's kind of mind blowing, even though I've been in the space for years, how fast it's moving. So I think this year is going to be the year of efficiencies. The first part of it was all the big cloud LLMs, all in NVIDIA and all the infrastructure spend. And now it's like, oh, how do we, and this was part of our discussion, how do you actually make use of this at a business or enterprise level and actually make it bring an ROI? So these agents that can do these tasks are going to be where it really starts to happen. Now the question is, does it happen so fast that it eliminates a lot of requirements for people, and that's going to be a challenge? Or does it help people become better at their jobs and work on more high valued types of tasks instead of things that are more mundane and they shouldn't be, spending their time on? So this will be the year that really flushes out. But it's going to be a very interesting 3 years. That's what I got to say.
What do you think about the doomers involved in AI these days? That basically humans are going to become extinct because AI is going to decide they don't need us anymore. That's the Skynet
Yes,
hypothesis,
the
I guess.
Terminator will be coming for us shortly, right?
Yeah.
So,
Well, I just heard yesterday. I think there's actually a movie coming out, and I might have saw a little discussion with one of and they have some of the major CEOs that were in these AI companies, and they put a couple of the big models to task as war gaming,
Hmm.
and 95% of the times both models went to nukes. So that's not encouraging.
no.
but but
That very much sounds like the movie, but go ahead.
and
Yeah. So.
and another one that found a back door totally unrelated to what their task was to buy and sell or do something with Bitcoin. So I think there's going to need to be parameters around this. I think the more urgent scenario is that we're going to find that these agents can do so much that we need a lot less humans to do things. So that's going to be a challenge from a societal standpoint in terms of displacing people, and how do we handle that and how do we take care of that. That's why the trades is a good place to be right now, but because you can't replace the plumbers and the electricians.
Wait for the robot plumbers, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, yeah, I guess. But so I mean, I'm not. I'm pretty neutral. I'm usually more optimistic. I think my optimism has gone from 80 to 70, just because I'm a little more nervous about how fast this is doing, and not that it's going to be, the take over the world thing. It's more that we're going to have to adjust to how fast and efficient these things. It could be a great thing. They say,
Yeah.
hey, we won't have to work. It'll be universal income. There'll be so much. We'll have everything we want, and we won't
Or
need
it'll
to
be
do.
like, yeah, the George Jetson saying these 3 hour days are killing me. Right. Yeah. Okay.
Exactly.
Hey,
But
George Jetson.
Yeah.
it
Well,
will be
the other thing,
fascinating. It'll be a fascinating 2 to 3 years, maybe just even
Yeah.
18 months. We'll see.
the other
Yeah.
thing I wanted to ask, of course, is when will we see another ugly talk?
Yeah, my goal would to be have one second quarter sometimes. I just don't have it all firmed up, but I will be out in front of it a lot earlier this time. So I get the exposure to make sure as many people who want to come can come. It's all free.
Hmm.
Some of the ones they're doing over in the other locations, it gets to a point where it's big enough that it's invite only. We're early stages, so I'm hoping just to get as many people interested as possible, and I'll let you guys know as soon as I know.
Sounds
Okay.
good. All
And
right.
where can people go for more information if they want to see what Ugly Talk has been all about in other locations and the first one here? That
Yeah, and I'll have some information up on that shortly from our view, but it is uglytalk.com.